I'm here to answer questions you guys have for him. Before we get started, just a quick reminder, please use the raise hand button just to avoid everyone talking over one another. So with that, Joe, do you want to get us started? And then Elena, you can follow up with the next question.
Yep, thank you. Hey, Christian.
Joe, real quick, sorry, but before you get on, I'll just make a statement. Obviously, you're first, but before I get going on the injury stuff, I kind of want to address, our team at this point and talk a little bit about the game. We're 0-2 with 14 games left in the regular season, and the last thing that I want this team to focus on is the negative. Football, especially in the NFL, can have a lot of factors that play into it that can affect your mental, emotional, and physical play. And I think, we've lost 2 games not because we're a bad team, and I think that's something that can get corrected, injury or not, with me. I think this team has a lot of fight. I think our team has a lot of resiliency, and we have the right guys to pick it up from here. And I'm excited about that. And I want to address that first because there's a lot of talk with, how we're going to be as a team. Well, we have the right culture, and it's still early, and there is still hope. And so I wanted to make sure I address that because, once again, there's a lot of noise that can be heard from the outside. And, I think it's crucial not to listen to that stuff and to continue to focus on the football and correct the mistakes. Don't beat ourselves. I say it every week. Don't beat ourselves. That's the key in this game. That's going to be the key with our team. And so, I kind of just want to open with that and talking about the game and talking about our team.
Thanks, Christian. And could you kind of go over 2 things: the play where it happened, how it happened, and then whether you've ever had a high ankle sprain you've dealt with?
Yeah, it happened, I think, 4 or 5 plays before the touchdown. I'm not 100% sure how it happened. I had a lot of adrenaline during the game, and I think I got, a couple carries after that. And then, as soon as the third quarter ended, I went and got taped, tried to play it off, played a couple plays, and just realized that I wasn't 100%. And I went over to the sideline, and it started getting worse and worse. And I realized that it would be inefficient if I continued to play due to the level that I was at. And so I told them that, they kind of addressed it and told me to sit out and that I'd be out for the game. And then I had an ankle sprain in high school, but other than that, no.
Elena, you can go ahead.
Okay. Christian, what did you feel when you realized you were going to be out for the game, and just when they told you it was a high ankle sprain, you're going to have to miss a few weeks? How are you feeling? What are you going through with, this being your first injury in the NFL?
Yeah, it sucks. To be 100% transparent, anytime you get injured, it's a horrible thing. You play football to play, not to sit out. And this is part of the game, and it happens. But I don't believe in coincidences. I think everything happens for a reason, and I think everything is perspective and attitude. And when you look at it, you can win or you learn. And right now is a learning experience for me. I've prided myself on being on the field, and freak accidents happen a lot, and this is one of them. And if you look around the league, there's a lot of guys who are down right now. But I think the biggest thing you can do right now is stay strong and fight through it. They say 4 to 6 weeks. Well, that's a challenge to me, and hopefully I can get back a lot earlier than that. But I'm going to attack this just like I attack anything else, and go from there.
All right, we'll go to David Newton and then Jonathan Alexander.
Christian, I wanted to ask you, I think you said sometime last year how you need not to take life so seriously sometimes, and I think you said that again recently on a social media post. How does that and what you've learned about that help you through these times?
As a competitor, it doesn't help. I think you just have to continue to push. You know, I mean, I can sit here and feel sorry for myself, and that does me no good. You know, I think it happened, and the only thing you can do now is control what you can control, and that's getting this ankle back 100% as soon as possible, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. And it's really not more complicated than that. That's the only thing to do, and stay positive, help my teammates out as much as I can, and rehab this thing and attack it, you know, at 100% so that I can get back and try to help this team win games. So that's it.
Hey, Christian, Jonathan Alexander, Shot Observer. Normally I say hope you're doing well, but instead I'll say I'm sorry that happened to you. You know, Mike Davis will likely fill in for you. What about what you've seen from him gives you confidence that he can do well for the Panthers?
Yeah, I mean, he's going to do great. I already know it. You know, he can do everything. He can run, can catch, can block. He can run through people. He can make people miss. You know, he's a guy who has had success, you know, not just with our team, but in the past with his other teams too. So he's been there and he's been there before, and he's been a successful player in the NFL, and I don't think anything's going to change. And to me, it's exciting to see because, you know, I look at, you know, practicing with him last year and practicing with him this year, and he's only gotten a lot better. So I'm excited for him.
All right, Miles, we'll go to you for the next question, and then Josh Klein afterwards.
Thanks, Preston. Christian, how frustrating is this, just considering how well, you know, you take care of your body so that you can continue to play at a high level?
Yeah, you know, it's really frustrating. You know, it's the nature of the beast, though, and, you know, once again, it happened. You know, the only thing you can do now is try to fix it and go from there. You know, I think it's obviously frustrating at first, but the more and more you keep telling yourself, oh, this sucks or this is frustrating, you know, the less time you're spending focusing on taking care of it. And, you know, that's one thing for me. Obviously, it's very disappointing at first, and, you know, I wish I could be out there. But, you know, at the same time, you know, it's up to me to stay positive and to approach it in a way that, you know, I'm going to get better. Like I said, I don't believe in coincidences. You know, this happens for a reason. It's not my plan, it's God's plan. And, you know, his plan is much greater than mine. And I think in times of adversity is when you got to show the strongest faith. And I think that's a challenge for me right now, is to continue to keep the faith and you know, once again, just attack the injury with a full head of steam so I can get back as soon as possible.
Christian, when you took the time before we started talking about the injury to make it clear that, you know, that you wanted to come back as fast as possible and to ignore all that noise from the outside, did you do that, you know, because this is a young team and obviously you're one of the leaders, and if you're going to be away, there can be a tendency for the team to kind of maybe, I don't want to say not work as hard, but have different goals rather than trying to win every Sunday?
No, I just think it's important for everyone to hear that from me. You know, I think if you were to talk to Teddy, if you were to talk to Coach Rule and the other leaders on this team, they would say the same thing. And yeah, we have a young team, and you know, I've seen. It's funny because, you know, when you read the news now, it's so negative. If one thing happens, it's so negative, and it's such a sad thing to see because, you know, it's the outside world expects perfection a lot of times when you're in the NFL, and football is not a perfect sport, and football is not an individual sport. It's the biggest team sport in the world, and you need all hands on deck in order to win. And so, you know, when you're 0-2, it's not over, and that's very important to understand. You know, I've seen, I think it was the Chargers last year, lost their first 6 games, and then week 17 they're fighting for a playoff spot. You know, there's teams who have gone 7-9 and made the playoffs. There's teams who have gone 0-2 and then they win 14, you know, 13 straight. And I think you can focus on that, and you can focus on the fact that we're 0-2. But at the end of the day, it's about the football, and it's about one day at a time, 1 week at a time, one meeting at a time, one practice at a time. That's all you can control. But when you start hearing the noise, good or bad, it starts to take you off the path. And I think it's very important to stay true to, you know, what you know in times of adversity. Because once again, I think in the social media era of the world, you know, if you start to read into what people are saying about you, whether it's good or bad, you're gonna fall down a pretty tough path. So, you know, that's kind of why I address that.
All right, JB, we'll go to you, and then Brett after him.
Hey, Christian, JB from Spectrum News One. Thanks so much for taking out the time. You mentioned that you haven't had an ankle sprain since high school, so you really haven't had to miss this amount of time in your career before, and you're obviously the leader of this team. How are you going to attack, your leadership from the sidelines and from the background or whatever while you help guide your team, through these next few weeks?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think the biggest thing you can do is to not change. I'm not going to do anything differently. The only thing different is, I won't be on the field, but I'll still approach the game the same way. I'll still be there for my teammates, and I'll focus my in-game or in-practice energy to the rehab, and that's kind of how I'll go about it. But I'm going to be the same guy. I'm not going to make a drastic change. I'm going to do everything I can to get this ankle better so I can come back and start playing again.
Christian, real quick, just to I guess double check. So you actually hurt your ankle towards the end of the third quarter. Is that correct? Before the fourth quarter?
Yeah, I think it was a couple plays before the third quarter.
And then to that end, last year Cam Newton obviously was hurt, and he admitted that he lied to the doctors and wasn't forthcoming with them, and it kind of hurt him, obviously, by doing so. Are you going to make sure that you're going to be completely honest and not rush to get things back, or are you going to do everything to rush to get back?
I'm going to do everything I can to rush to get back, honestly, if that makes sense. But, I think we have such a good training staff that, they're transparent with me. I'm transparent with them. I'd never do anything to jeopardize my team. So I'll make sure that I'm 100% healthy, and we're going to try to rush back as fast as I can, as long as, once again, I'm 100% healthy.
All right, guys, we have two more questions. Skylar, you can ask yours, and then Jason, you can finish it up.
Yeah, Christian, Coach Rule talked about the toughness of this team really since the onset of training camp, and we've kind of seen that the last 2 weeks with you guys battling back in the second half. Just kind of speak on that. And then Dante Jackson also told us after the game on Sunday that this isn't a rebuilding year and that you guys want to take this deep into February. Do you kind of echo the same sentiment?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, we have the guys to win, and we've put ourselves in position to win 2 weeks in a row. We've shown that we can win. We just have to do it. You can't beat yourselves. You got to play good team football, and we've shown that we can do it. So there's no need to be a rebuilding year. When we know we can win, it's okay to win. And I think, with some kinks here and there that we have to iron out, I think it's about time to get those going and to start playing winning football, winning team football. We know we can, like I said. So now it's just time to go out there and do it.
Hey, Christian, Jason Huber with WFNZ. Kind of, same thing, but a little bit of a two-part question. But with all the injuries happening yesterday in the NFL, I'm sure you saw, a lot happening. Is there anything that, you can, I know you don't want to make excuses, but anything with the lack of training camp off-season that you think could have factored in around the league? And also, have you reached out to any of those guys like, Saquon and Raheem Mostert, at your position and spoken with them at all yet, or do you plan to?
Definitely. Yeah, it was a really tough day yesterday, and my thoughts and prayers go out to everyone that got hurt. It's once again, it's the nature of the beast. This league can be very challenging sometimes, and with injuries especially. Guys play through a lot of stuff, but when you have season-ending injuries or you miss a few weeks, it can be very tough. And I don't think a lot of people understand necessarily what goes into that and what goes into the mindset of when that does happen. Right? There's a lot of pressure that guys put on themselves to be great, and when you can't be on the field, it's very tough. But so my prayers go out to them, and my prayers go out to James White especially. Somebody who is one of the most respected players in the league, and for me, I've seen so much tape of him, and always respected his game and heard nothing but great things about him. And so to go through a tragedy like that is very sad. It's definitely trying times right now. So my prayers go up to him as well. And, him and his family and all of his loved ones. So, you just got to be there for people in situations like that. You look at a guy like that who's done everything right, and bad stuff happens to good people sometimes. And once again, you just I think it's important to put that into perspective that it's bigger than football sometimes. And, when tragedies happen, you got to look at it as a learning experience and go from there. But just be there for your brothers and for your colleagues.
All right, Joe, did you have one more before we go?
Yeah, thank you. I got that.
No. Yeah, you're good. We can finish up with this last one.
Hey, Christian, you said things happen for a reason in your mind. And this may be hard for you to look at kind of in the moment, but I remember Thomas Davis often talking about how a couple of his injury seasons sort of allowed him to play longer and took off some of that wear and tear on his body. Do you think, it's kind of looking for a silver lining, could that be the case here with you for the next month?
Well, when you look at guys like TD, they've gone through so much and still been able to be resilient and approach rehab. And, I don't know what year he's in now, but playing as long as he has, you could say that. I never want to miss games. I never want to be hurt, but you do have to look at a bright side for it. And now it's, I get, 4 more weeks or hopefully it's a lot shorter than 4 weeks. They say 4 weeks, but once again, you never know. I could come back, as early as whenever I get healthy. But I think it's just one of those things where what you do in this time off is extremely important. It's not time off necessarily. It's actually going to be a harder little stretch than if I were healthy, because I'll be here pretty much all day, every day. But that's the beauty of it. Once again, I look at it as a challenge. How quick can I get back to 100%? And that's all I'm focused on right now.
All right, Christian, we appreciate you taking the time.